Namaste. Welcome to class. So today's class is going to be all about building strength in the core of our body, really finding that area. So we're going to start today with just a little bit of abdominal breathing so you get in touch with your abdomen, okay? So even before we actually start class, we're going to just do a little bit of breathing, okay? So wherever you are, you can even be sitting in a chair for a moment. Exhale the breath out, use your abdominal muscles, bring the belly to the spine, release the abdominal muscles and let the breath come in. Again, out, release, in, out, release, in. Let the releasing of the belly bring the breath in. Let the breath just come in by itself, but use your abdominal muscles to press the breath out, activate the muscles all the way around and release, and the breath comes in. A couple more. Exhale the breath out. Inhale the breath in. One more. Exhale the breath out. And now bringing your hands into the heart. Anjali Mudra. Let your head bow slightly, lengthening the back of the neck. Relax into your sit bones. Feel your pelvic floor melt into the floor. Soften your knees, your legs, your feet. And out of this stable base, letting your spine rise up toward the sky. Soften your face, your jaw. And notice now where your breath is in the body. The belly, the chest, the front, the back. Imperceptible or very perceptible, just noticing. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present, a special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So what do you need today for self-transformation? Ask yourself, ask yourself, ask yourself. Letting that thought move from your mind all the way through your body. And then let it come back and store it in your heart space until the end of practice. Join me in one Om if you are where you can. Otherwise, just revel in the vibration. Exhaling the breath out and inhaling the chant. And releasing the hands down to the thighs for a moment, okay? So as I mentioned when we started, we're going to get in touch with the core part of our body today. It provides stability not only for the lower part and for the upper part, but also for your back. A lot of low back stability comes from there. So we're going to start. We started with a little bit of abdominal breath just to bring our awareness into where that area is and hopefully activate a little of our more soothing, soft, rest and digest nervous system, okay? So now we're going to do a practice that also will bring the attention into there. It's called Agni Sardoti. And I'm going to do it with my legs apart a little bit and then bring my heels in so I can just rest my hands on my legs. And notice you can let your bottom just poke out a little bit. So your tailbone's poking out a little bit and that releases your belly. And now your belly's all down below. So who would not do this practice? You wouldn't do it if you were on your menstruation and crampy and not feeling great. You wouldn't do it but if you're not and you usually have cramps, it's a great practice to do because it brings awareness, new blood flow and everything into the area. You wouldn't do it if you have a hiatal hernia or if you have acute acid reflux, okay? Also, if you have acid reflux, it's a great practice, but not to do when you have an acute session, okay? So the practice Agni Sardoti, washing with fire. Just be there for a moment, okay, and notice your breath. So just look down at your belly and see if you can, where your breath is. Good. And then look back at me for a second. I'm going to come a little bit closer and show you the practice, but that's the stance you're going to take. So you just stay there. And I'm going to come closer so you can see my belly a little bit better. Maybe I'll even do it to the side. So here's my little Buddha belly, and I'm going to bend over. And then when I exhale the breath all the way out, I'm not going to take any more breath in. I'm just going to release, pull, release, pull, release, pull, the abdominal area. Soft pulling, rhythmic pulling, doesn't have to be very fast. It grows faster with time. So being patient with yourself, okay? Take a nice inhale. You can stand up for just a sec. So take an inhale while you're up. Good. And then exhale, hinge at the hips. Bottom can poke out a little bit. Bottom of the exhale, pull the belly to the spine. And then rhythmically release, pull. Whenever you need to breathe, come on up. Rest. Good. Take a breath or two. And just notice how it feels in your body. If that created a lot of warmth, that's natural. That's why it's called Agni Sardoti, fire washing. Okay. So let's do one more. You can do it more gently or with more, if you're kind of mucousy and stuffed up, you're welcome to do it even a little bit more vigorous. So no breath. The breath is out. The breath is out because then we don't have our lungs pressing down into the diaphragm and the space is bigger and we can actually move and massage the organs, all of the organs in the abdominal cavity, okay? So here we are, take in an inhale, exhale it out all the way out, belly to spine. Release, pull rhythmically, as many times as are comfortable. And whenever you need that breath, just come right on up and take the breath. Good. And then heel toe for a moment, just finding your Tadasana for just a moment, bringing your hands into your heart, noticing your legs, your feet, rooting down through the floor. Put your focus at your abdominal region into your belly button. Focus right on that belly button. The downward flow of air, it takes all the things out of the body, apana. The downward flow of prana, bringing the breath in and down, bringing the food down through the digestive tract. Good, just breathing, noticing the breath. And then the upward flow, taking the breath out, taking out your voice, your singing, your belching, your burping, vomiting, everything that goes up and out. So just noticing the body. Good. And then release the arms, just let your arms be soft for a moment. And then put your hands right on your belly. Okay? So also from here for just a moment, we're going to do just a few abdominal breaths just to get you into that area where we're going to be working. This is your transverse abdominis, your rectus abdominis. And we want that transverse abdominis. It's like a belt all the way around you, hooked onto your spine, coming all the way around to the other side of your spine. That's the muscle we really want to activate today with our work, okay? Great. So exhale, belly to spine. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, belly to spine. Inhale into the belly. 3 more. Good. And that last one, come right on down into your squat. We're coming back down to the floor. Usually I don't like to go up, but today I wanted to go up and get those practices so we really are aware of the space we're working. So we're going to start in our table pose. I'm going to go to the side for a moment so you can see it there. But front on, I want you to see that everything is aligned, my whole body, okay? So my hands are in front of my shoulders. My knees are falling out of the hip socket, not too far back, not too far forward. Just right out of the hip socket where they feel, I can feel it happening, okay? So we're gonna do sunbird for a moment. putting our awareness into that, but we're going to build into it. So reach back with your left foot, reach the leg back, curl the toe under initially, curl it under, and then bring it up just until the leg is parallel to the rest of your body, hold parallel to the floor. So no rotation, no anything, toes are still toward the floor. Good. And then pressing into your left hand and your right leg, and your right leg can be laid out or curled under, whichever gives you the most bang for your buck. And then extend out through the right arm. So making a long, long line. Good. Just breathe. And then release the hand, release the knee. We're going to just find this alignment on either side first. So reach back with your right foot. And remember, your left foot can be curled under or laid out, whichever gives you the most traction in your leg. And then left arm extending out. Bring your upper arm close to your ear so that it's there. And then lift the leg off, but keeping it parallel. Toes are toward the floor. You can look down underneath you and make sure your toes are headed to the floor. No rotation. Second, third toe toward the floor. And then release the hand, release the leg. Good. So now we're going to do a little movement into this Surya Chariya, the sunbird. Okay. So we're nice and stable. Turn your toes under or lay them out, whichever gives you the most traction. Right? So we're going to take the leg back, left leg back, right arm extends. We're going to come into the midline. They're not toward each other. They're beside you. They're right on train tracks. So extend out. You can look out a little and look back towards your knee, and then look out. Keep going. Two more. And then lower the hand and lower the leg. Good. Rest. Just rest for a moment. You can always take your hips back to your heels. You can always be a little bit more comfortable there. Take your hips back for a second, rest. Good. And now the other side. So getting ready with your right leg, take it back, left arm reaching forward, lift the right leg, pull in your belly, pelvic floor is engaged, okay? And then in, extend, contract, expand, contract, expand. Your gaze can be strictly at the floor, or it can look out as you expand and at your knees when you contract. You decide. Two more. Rest the arm, rest the leg. And then everybody take your hips back to your heels. Take your forearms to the floor and look forward for a moment like a frog. And you can lay your feet out or keep them curled under. Breathe. Good. And then coming back up, all the way back up into your table. Press into the floor. We're going to take our cat pose for a moment. So in either direction, but we're only going to move on the exhale, the strong part, and bring ourselves back to neutral on an inhale. So find your neutral. And then exhale, curl the tailbone toward the back of the head toward the tailbone. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, belly to spine, arch in the opposite direction, press into the floor. Inhale, back to neutral. 3 more. Follow your breath, take your time. Good. And then once you're in neutral, let's sit back on our heels for a moment and make some wrist circles. Just getting a weight off of your wrist for a moment. Okay. And then we're going to go back, but I want to show you one thing so you can stay resting for just a moment and watch. So we're going to do the same thing again, but this time, so my knees are about 1 fist apart. Okay, so I'm trying to keep myself really stable. And then when I extend out with my left leg, pressing through the foot, I can come up a little bit more, point the toe. But what I'm not doing is anything out to the side. So see how it all stays in? It's just extending a little bit back in the leg and really pull the belly in as you do that, okay? So we're gonna do that. Come back, all the way back, good. Make sure your knees are where they belong. Your feet can be laid out or curled under, again, whichever's most comfortable. Let's start with our left leg. So left leg, take it back first, just to parallel. Look at the floor, point the toe, and lift the leg. So you'll feel a little bit of a back bend. Pull the belly in, press it to the floor with your hands. No rotation on the leg, none at all. And lower. Good. Let's go to the other side. So reach the right leg back, lift the right leg, get it parallel, pull in the belly, pelvic floor is lifted, point the toe, and then extend a little, but no rotation, just extension. Breathe, press into the floors. Fill the space between your shoulder blades. Don't let that cave in. Keep those rhomboids active. And release. Good, okay. Excellent, and let's come to standing on our knees for a moment. Just nice up, being up for a moment. And then take your fist and put your hands right at your belly, right at your low belly. And then come forward until you feel a little bit of pressure. And then come up. So working on apana, that downward flow. And up, pressing into the colon. And up. One more, just keep your fist there. Coming over just as much as is comfortable. And up. Great. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing, and you're going to pick a choice. You're going to do this from a table pose, just like we did it, or you can do it from mountain pose. So watch mountain for a moment before you decide. So when we're in mountain, our knees can be gently bent, and then we come up and take our heels toward the floor. My heel's never going to touch the floor. And then it's the same thing. There is no rotation. So the leg isn't going out any, it's just going up. I'm going to show you from this orientation. So the leg is going up, not anything out to the side. Strictly down and extend it. So you can do it from here or here, either place, okay? So coming up into mountain or establishing your table, whichever one you want to do, both are perfectly fine for this core part, all right? So if you're in mountain, come up on your tippy toes and then roll back towards your heels. If you have long legs, your heels may touch, great. If they don't touch, no big deal. And then left leg, if you're in kneeling, take your left leg back, find your Tadasana. So just finding that, and then point the toe and extend the leg a little bit further. If you're in mountain, take your right heel a little bit closer to the floor. Good. Look forward. Release the leg. And everybody meet in table. Good. Breathing. Notice how you feel. And then let's go up and go for the other side. So if you're in kneeling, you're just going to reach back. If you're in mountain, you're coming up. And the toes are pointed toward the floor. You find that Tadasana first. You find that long line of energy of Tadasana. Go ahead and press into your left heel a little bit more. And then point the toe and extend the right leg up. Hold, hold, hold if you're in table. And then begin to look forward and come down to both knees, into table, everybody. Good. Hips to heels and sitting back. Rest your hands on your thighs for a moment. Just relaxing. Good. And then some wrist circles. Just nice wrist circles. Then put your palms, your hands together, palms together, and some infinity symbols. Okay, and then the other way. Good. And then squeeze the arms out, both directions. So palms away, palms together, palms away, palms together, palms away, palms together. Good. Shake out the arms. Great. Because we're going to go into our next core work, laying down on the floor. Okay. It's called Yogi Bicycle, and it's very active for the abdominal region, but it really makes you engage that part. And then we'll do another exercise that helps you engage a little bit higher than that, okay? So we'll do both when we go down. So I want you to see that doing Yogi Bicycle, the slowest you can do it, is so much better than rushing through, okay? So watch for a moment. So just watch, this is my relaxed position. I have my hands under my neck, just resting my arms and elbows on the floor. And then my knees are just gently bent. And this is my inhaled neutral position, okay? And I want to make sure that you take it really slowly. So then when we exhale, we're going to extend the left leg, left elbow to right knee, and inhale back. Point the toe. Exhale, extend the right leg, and then right elbow to left knee, and inhale back. But it goes really slowly. You can always do just the legs or just the arms, and you can always rest in between. Okay, so find yourself on the floor. And like I said, you can just do legs, you can just do arms. You can do whatever feels good for you today, because it will be working the core part of the body, regardless of where you place it, okay? And you can do both. So we're gonna start together, and then we're gonna keep going. We're gonna do 10 sets, 10 pairs, or 20, okay? You can always stop and come back for the last few. You can always stop every 5 for 5, whatever you'd like to do, all right? So take a nice inhale, and then exhale. Left leg extends, left elbow to right knee. Inhale back, rest. Exhale, right leg extends, right elbow to left knee. Inhale back, rest. Left, back, right. Back. Just let the leg hover, don't let it touch the floor. Follow your breath. Slow it down, that's 5. If you pause, come back for the last two. And then just lie in that relaxed position. Relax your arms to the floor, relax your legs, relax everything. Don't pull in, don't move, just relax. Soften your face, soften your legs, soften your belly, soften everything. Good, and then take your arms and put them behind your knees and just rest them there for a moment. Just rest your arms, shoulders onto the floor. Good, and this little bit of a movement, we're gonna straighten the legs toward the ceiling. Our toes are pointed. We're gonna flex the feet, lower, lower, point, and return. Okay, and we're gonna coordinate the breath. All right, so there's gonna be no breath at all. There's gonna be a little breath held out here. Okay, so no breath, flex the feet, and no breath. So inhale up, flex, lower, lower. Inhale, flex, exhale, lower, lower. No breath. Inhale, up, flex, exhale, lower, lower. Point. Inhale, up, flex, exhale, lower, lower. Point. Bring it in. Inhale, up, flex, lower, lower. Point. No breath. Inhale, flex, exhale, lower, lower. Point. Bring it in. Inhale, up, flex, lower, lower. And one more. Inhale, exhale, pull the breath out and draw the legs in. Good. And just relax your arms beside your body. Breathe. Good. And then the very last one, we're going to take our legs again up toward the ceiling. So legs up toward the ceiling. Good. And then we're going to separate the legs enough for you to bring your hands into namaste and reach through. Okay, so every time you're going to take an inhale, come back, and exhale, reach through, look through. Inhale, come back, exhale, reach through. We're just going to do 6, that's 2. Take it slow, last one. Good, and then relax, draw your knees in, put your feet on the floor and don't do anything. Just put your feet there, rest your hands on your rib cage, get soft for a moment. Good, and then just lift your hips off the floor for a minute, shake them out, just shake out your hips and let them go back to the floor. Take your feet mat width apart, just the feet. Drop your knees over to the left and arch your spine. Come back up into neutral. Drop your knees over to the right, arch your spine. You can look over to the left. Come back into neutral, windshield wiper. Be sure you arch your back. Good, and then come into neutral. Great. And then bring your legs in. Keep your hips where they are and reach your shoulders away from your hips for a moment. So just wiggle your shoulders up, lengthening your spine. Bring your knees into the chest. Bring them in. Hands are on the floor. Just the legs engaged. You'll feel your low back press toward the floor. And then we're just going to take a moment and a few, if you're on concrete without a lot of stuff, don't do this. But if you're on wood or anything and have a couple of mats beneath you, just rock up to seated. Otherwise, push yourself away and come up to seated. Okay? Good. So find your nice seated position. Good. So again, bringing your awareness into the abdominal region. This time we're going to do a little bit of twist, and I want you to make sure the twist happens from your belly button up and not from your belly button below. So go ahead and take your right hand and place it on your sacrum. Right hand is on your sacrum. There's no twisting happening yet. Right hand is on your sacrum. And your left arm is out to the side. Good. And then bring your left arm right in front. Again, out to the side. Bring it right in front and out to the side. And this time, taking the whole arm and body width, turn and twist over to the right side. Make sure your hand stays back on your low back and it's not in the twist. Take your gaze out to the right side. And then bring your gaze out over your left shoulder. Out over your left shoulder. Really feel that the twist is happening in your thoracic spine where you have ribs. Good one. One more nice inhale. And as you exhale, just release it. Good. Notice the difference from one side to the next. Soften, soften, soften. Good. And then go ahead and take your left hand, put it back on your sacrum. Bring it down the top of the pelvic basket. Good. And then taking your right arm out to the side, palm facing me. Good. And then bring it back into the front and open and into the front, just working the shoulder. Nothing else is moving in your body. Just the head of the humerus, how it's interacting and working with the scapula, clavicle. Okay, good. And this time when you come, you're going to come all the way around with the whole shoulder, whole arm, whole everything, looking out to the left. Make sure nothing's happening in your low back. Your twist is all in your rib cage. Notice how your sternum is out to the left side. And then bring your chin up a little bit and arch it out over the right shoulder. Good. Breathe. Keep pressing into your low back. Keep it soft, strong and safe. Pull your belly in. It's super strong. Breathe. Notice the restriction of the breath. And then on your next exhale, release the twist. Good. And then ask yourself which side might need a twist. One side usually feels still tighter than the other. So you're going to twist away from that side, right? Whatever you're going to do, just a little bit. You can also just do a little twist to either side for a moment. Just notice that one side of the body is usually a lot tighter than the other. Good. And then bring the arms up overhead, palms facing one another. Touch the palms. Lower the arms. Okay, so the hands are just right above your head. Pull your belly in. Breathe into the chest region. So I'm going to keep my hands, I'm going to keep your arms exactly where they are. Don't move with me. You're going to breathe into this area right here. So your belly stays in, belly stays engaged, and you're breathing into your ribs. Our asana breath. Keeping the belly engaged. Belly to spine, pelvic floor is lifted, everything's lifted. Good. And then take the arms up, out to the side, touch the ground gently. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up into the chest. Exhale down. Keep the belly to the spine. The belly is not moving. Good. One more time. Up overhead. And hands into the heart. And then let's come back into our table for just a moment. I want to do one more series of cat pose as a checkpoint for you to see how your spine feels after this work that you've done with your core, okay? So make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders and your feet are curled under or laid out, whichever gives you the most traction. Great, and then as you exhale, lift the spine toward the ceiling, tuck in the chin. As you inhale, come back to your neutral. As you exhale, take the spine toward the floor. And inhale, back into neutral. 3 more. Keep it slow. Notice the difference in the body, in the breath, and in the mind. Good. And then slowly coming on down. So we haven't, some of us have been already inverted today. So we're right here, it's not quite an inversion, almost an inversion. It's especially not if I take my hips a little lower, not an inversion. So if you're not inverting, find something like this. If you are inverting, I just want you to do a version of rabbit pose. Your forearms are on the floor. You're going to do that cat tilt that you just did. Place the crown of the head in between the elbows. You may need to walk your elbows further out to the side. There's only a slight amount of pressure on the head. Very, very slight. Right here, pull the belly in. Pull the belly in. Press into the feet. They can be curled under or laid out. And then walk the elbows back in until your head is just hovering. Look forward and take a nice seat. Good. And you're going to make your way into Shavasana. As you do that, ask yourself if you need any other pose. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Just find anything that might feel good to you. Hopefully you're ready for your Shavasana and can just relax into it completely. Good. Especially those abdominal muscles that we've worked so extensively today. So just find yourself on the floor. Don't feel trapped by your mat. Make sure that you're nice and soft. Feel as if you were a starfish. And now you can let the breath into the belly. Now you can soften everything in your abdominal cavity. Let the breath move in and nourish you completely. Relax your jaw. Let your eyes float back in the sockets. Let your tongue relax in the bottom of the mouth. Let your lips part slightly, releasing the will. Sinking into the floor. Surrendering to the floor. Slowly and gently bringing your awareness back to the breath, finding it in the belly or the chest, just noticing it and letting it expand a little bit. Begin to bring some movement into the fingers and the toes. Wriggling your nose, wiggling your eyes, your ears, your mouth, bringing the senses online. And then slowly making your way over to one side of embryo. You can take your time, you can stretch out, you can shrink in, any way that the body is speaking to you. Respect the desire of the body now and walk. Wake yourself up slowly, gently out of that Shavasana, out of that little taste of death, curling up into embryo pose, all safe and secure. And then with the using the hand on the upper arm, put it on the floor in front of your face and begin to tuck the chin into the chest, spiraling yourself up until the head very end just sits on the top of the spine. Relaxing for a moment, breathing. On your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Good. So the practice that we're going to do this morning for pranayama is also focused at the abdominal region. I'm going to bring my chair a little closer. Hopefully you'll be able to see and hear. Okay. So the practice is called Bastrika, which means bellows. So we're going to use our abdominal breath. When we're doing Kapalabhati, it's happening in this part with the diaphragm moving right here. And this Bastrika, it's happening in the lower part. I'm going to take it down just a bit. So the Bastrika is happening down in this part. So we're going to exhale the breath out as we pull the belly to the spine. And then a little second pull that's going to tug it up, just a tiny little bit, okay? So thinking about a fireplace bellows, when you close the bellows and it shoots the breath up in one spot, okay? So it's, and then you let the belly go and let the breath come into the bellows and then press it out, okay? So I'm gonna do a round so you can just sort of see. Here's my belly. This is my low belly. My belly button is right there, so you can see where my focus is. So my chest isn't really doing anything right now, all right? So I'm going to breathe into my belly. So you might hear those little two parts to the breath. The first is pulling the belly back, and the second part is pulling it up a little bit. So just kind of bring in, tuck, bring in, tuck. So you hear the breath go out, tuck. Breath goes out, tuck, okay? So just trying into this area. We're not going to go fast. We're not going to do any holes. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to do this abdominal breathing, bringing ourselves right into that same focus where we were, all right? Make sure you're at a place where you can move right into meditation. So if you need to grab a shawl or a scarf or something before we begin our pranayama practice, just have it there handy for you so that we can then move right on into our meditation afterwards, okay? Good. All right, so nice tall spine. Let's see if I can go back a little bit more. I think hearing me will be harder, but seeing me may be better. Okay, so here's the belly area, and I'm just gonna keep my hands there so you can see what happens to my hands for a moment when I've got them interlaced, and then just watch. So it's all the actions happening here, okay? Ready to start with me? So just resting your hands on your legs. So as long as we're doing it gently with no holes or anything, this is fine for all of us to do. Softly, gently, all right? That's the key. No big overdoing anything. You pittas back off, okay? Exhaling the breath all the way out. Inhale, belly. Exhale, two parts. Inhale. Take the time for the inhale to fill up the belly. Don't bring it into the chest. Pause. Fall back into your natural breath wherever it is. Notice if you feel lightheaded, make your pause a little longer. Just falling back into your natural breathing. You can close your eyes, get soft. The breath almost imperceptible. This exhaling in this forced manner creates an ease in our sympathetic nervous system, innervating the parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic drops away and the parasympathetic comes on. So the rest and digest comes in, the fight and flight moves out. Totally related to the CO2 and the oxygen levels in your blood. Okay. So let's do one more round. Okay. So tall spine. Breath moves into the belly. So if you want to put your hands there like you saw me do, feel free to do that. So you're sure you're getting your breath down into your belly. So we all begin with an exhale, belly to spine. Inhale, belly. Exhale. Inhale, belly. Exhale. Inhale. Take your time. Exhale completely. Don't let the inhale climb up into the chest. You're starting to feel lightheaded, let it go, take your pause. Otherwise, keep going for another 30 seconds. The minute you start to feel lightheaded, stop. Close your eyes and just wait for the meditation. And then everybody making this the last round that you're on, exhaling, belly to spine, and relax the belly and taking your breath naturally. Letting your eyes close or a soft gaze. As we move into a meditation. So hum, that I am. And that is a capital T. You are divinity. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale. Let the breath decide the chant, not the chant decide the breath. Just as you breathe naturally, shallowly, softly, putting a so with your inhale and a hum with your exhale. letting your body sink down toward the ground as your spine reaches up toward the sky. Body is soft, spine is erect. So hum, so hum, so hum, so hum. So hum, so hum. So hum, so hum. Gently beginning to release the mantra. Let it go slowly. Again, relaxing the body toward the floor as the spine, Sushumna, reaches toward the ceiling. Soften the shoulders, soften your jaw. Noticing the quality of the breath, of your thoughts, the peace in the body. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali. Any merit we may have earned this morning, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentience. Remembering your intention. What was your intention for this practice? What was your intention for self-transformation? Pondering it for a moment and then let it slip out of your head down into your heart. And then symbolically from your heart into the very palms of your hands. And then lift it up and just let it go off into the universe, bringing the hands very gently back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay, I'm coming to you. Don't have very far to come, just have to find my shoes. Nothing like a cold concrete floor. Okay, let me fix it so you can talk and I can unspotlight and you can see one another. Move spotlight and I want a gallery view. Good, I've got you all beautifully. So, how's your belly? Everybody good with doing a little work in your core? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard when we're concentrating so much on belly breathing. Then when you were saying, I think we were doing this and up into our chest, it was hard to allow that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And it's so important that we learn to pull the belly back and keep it stable and differentiate, Patty, between the chest breath and the belly breath. Yeah. Did you manage it before it was over? Did you manage to like make sure your belly stayed engaged and you were only spreading your chest? And a lot of that happens right there with just the movement. You know, like as you came up, you increased your lung capacity by your ribs going out. And so it came into there more naturally. And then when so it should have facilitated the breath moving into the chest and out of the belly, as long as you like kept that belly engaged.
As long as I was here too, that I was here.
Amen. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? That's so true.
Yeah.
Anybody else, any experiences with like the abdominal? How is the Bastrika, which is a challenging breath practice? It's usually reserved for more advanced practices, but the actual pulling it into the belly, Ashok, how was that for you?
It was very good. I have a question about it. The exhalation, is it forced?
It is forced.
And passive inhalation?
Yes, it is a forced exhalation, just like Kapalabhati, but Kapalabhati is in the chest area and Bastrika is in the abdominal area, right? So you have to, I'm gonna do just one breath a little closer to the microphone so you can hear it. So you can differentiate.
So when you do it, I hear.
Go ahead, Ashok.
So when you do it, I hear I sort of hear two sounds or like an extended sound, but when I do it, I hear only one sound.
So that's fine.
So
it's
maybe
just
I need to kind of.
No. Keep the one sound. I had only one sound for probably 10 years. When I pulled it back, just one sound came, and that was it. But then as I got more flexible in that area and my diaphragm got more receptive and is more flexible, then it goes like, here's my spine, and here's the breath right out here in the belly. So it goes like that, and then it goes out and out. But once you get a little bit more practiced, it goes. I don't know if you can just see that little subtle tuck that comes in a little tiny bit more, but it takes getting really moved from this side to my screen. Ashoka, somebody left the room and you went over there. So it takes a little bit of practice before the diaphragm gets really flexible and has that space to do that, you know. I can remember hearing.
Okay, I'll keep that.
I could remember Jaya doing
I'll keep that.
2 parts and I couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden one day I did. I'll see you in a bit, Mary. You behave. And I'm going to run and get breakfast and I'll see you there. I'm going to run and get a piece of toast with I'm going to probably eat in front of you. Mary and I have a meeting at 8:30. So she's going to go get breakfast before I do. All right. Any questions? So Bastrika really takes practice, and it's got a whole big thing. If you guys have the Ashtanga Yoga primer, you can read about it, because it's, you know, you'll do 10 of those forced exhalations and then hold with all the locks. But that, I didn't want you to do that. I just really wanted you to work on the abdominal area and understand where that is and how you're moving that in your body, right? So I hope all of you tomorrow have a little bit of a knowledge of your belly, and then when you turn in on Thursday, that you're like going, oh, I really worked my belly on Tuesday, right? Because it's not something that you do all the time. But you know, we started with just a little bit of belly breath, and we started with Agni Sardoti, really trying to find where that whole abdominal area is of Samana Vayu, that unchanging air, and then moving it into the asana, where we were actually trying to strengthen that area, right? So hopefully you'll feel it a little bit tomorrow and the next day. Not because I want you to have any pain, I just want you to have awareness of that area. It's so important for our low back stability. It really is the most important thing that we can do for our low back stability, is to work on our abdominal region and really make sure that transverse abdominis, not so much the rectus abdominis, but that the transverse abdominis, the one that goes all the way around us like a faja, like a belt, that one is strong, right? Any questions about today, about how was your meditation after doing the Bastrika? I find it just drops me off into a very subtle space, even if I just do it for a little bit. How was that for you guys? Was it good? Okay, good. Because I didn't want anyone to feel anxious after it. That's why I tried to say pause if you're starting to feel any kind of, you know, lightheadedness, because I want you to stop before that. I don't want you to hyperventilate. But it can cause hyperventilation if you're doing it improperly for too long. Okay. All righty. Well, I'm going to go, so I do get a little bit of breakfast before my 8:30 meeting. I don't know why I scheduled an 8:30 meeting, because there was no other time on the calendar, because the rest of the day I'm booked. Okay, it was so nice to see you guys. I appreciate your being there. And we'll see you, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise on Thursday morning, 6 a.m. for you Californianites, and 8 a.m. regular time for us here in Guatemala. Okay. Thanks, Jean. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, all of you, for coming. Brenda, thanks. Nancy, nice to see you. Sylvia, my love. Patty, Nayana, Cam, my sweet. Wendy, Surya Prakash, appreciate you. Kristen, Jana, Yakna, yeah. Sandra, Deepak, Alfredo, loyal Alfredo. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Much love to you, and have a great day. Okay. Ciao, ciao.